This is Mr. Big Nate, and I've been seeing a lot of different videos on Necromancer and people playing, and I've kind of come to my own conclusion that this build, the Miasma Corpse Explosion build, definitely has a lot of wiggle room, and I feel like people aren't giving it enough credit. It might be because of the screen pollution, but I really think that this build, I'll just start going through it like this, through the helm, so you can get a good look at it. If you need a pause, here's a good opportunity. Check that out. Here's my chest. Legendary, not even sacred yet. I'm only level 73, but and you'll see all the affixes or the legendary aspects that are on here too, along with the the affixes, the abilities. Can't change ancestral unique gloves. These ones I found while doing a nightmare level, I don't know, it was like 22 when I was like level 60, and I couldn't finish it because I got in one shot. So this build really struggles with survivability. So showing up your survivability and making sure that you can take some hits before you're able to get your stacks up is really important. And so the ability that we're really going to be looking into here is the Bone Storm ability, which you saw on my helm. I'll just keep going around looking at the gear just so you can get a good look at it. But Bone Storm, now that it deals shadow damage, it's not only a good source of damage, but it's a good source of applying stacks. So it applies shadow damage stacks, and the more shadow damage stacks you get, the more damage you do. So basically, the longer that you're in the fray, the longer that you're in battle, the more damage you're dealing. And so I'm going to go back to the helm, and this is where kind of like it pulls the build together really well. Is that each time Bone Storm damages an enemy, you gain a barrier equal to 5% of your base life for 10 seconds. And that doesn't have a limit. So you just basically, for 10 seconds, you're invulnerable. And then even 10 seconds after your Bone Storm is over, you're also getting all the bonuses that you had beforehand. So basically, once you start Bone Storm and you're in the middle of a group of monsters, you're basically invulnerable. For all intents and purposes. But what it does suffer from, I will say, is any after death effects, including poison, fire. That really gets you. If you're not able to combo off before they freeze you or crowd control you, that can be really difficult because the Necro doesn't really have a way outside of Blood Mist to break those. So the thing is, I've been leveling with this, and Blood Mist while you're leveling is boring. You do not need Blood Mist when you are leveling your character. It just is not an ability that you need. It's a top end, like I would say anywhere from 40 to 50 to 60 nightmare dungeon requirement, possibly. I haven't reached that yet. I'm only level 73. This is my first character, and I've just been figuring out like everybody else. I will say, everybody else, I'll put flawless skulls in all of your jewelry. You need the armor, and again, it stacks. That stacks fortify, but this stacks armor. So this ability, this chest piece, the reason I have it on is because of damage. Everyone says don't have it. I really liked it, so I'm running it. It's at the lowest shadow damage roll, but the highest damage roll. And I'm planning on replacing it sooner rather than later. But the point is that you get with this legendary aspect, you get these stacks of armor, which basically improves your armor by 50%. So, and it's kind of like a kill a cuirass from D3. So basically, if you have lower than primary resource, or you're above 90% primary resource, you have 50% damage reduction. And in this case, damage reduction isn't even as good as armor. So basically, everybody's saying armor. I got life or max life gems in here. People say that you want the. Some people say you want the topazes, but I digress. I'm getting a little off track. The main focus is that people are running, I think, kind of limited versions of the Corpse Necro. I think that the Miasma Explosion Necro Corpse Explosion Necro can actually be better than any other build that's out there. And the reason is because I just kind of stumbled upon this. I was watching credit to oh my gosh, I can't remember. It was a streamer, another streamer, came up with the, or I saw the Corpse Explosion Necro, and it was pretty amazing. And I had been running what have I been running? I had been running, let's just go to the abilities. I had been running Sever because I really liked the ability. I thought it was really cool. And then I just realized that the damage was falling off and that it dealt a lot of instantaneous damage and not really any damage over time. And when you're fighting giant mobs of monsters, especially at the higher levels, and this is where the kicker is, you don't really have the time to be kind of just sitting there, unless you're a big tanky character like you Rogue or the Barbarian. You don't really have the time to just be sitting in damage. And if the Necro is capable of sitting in damage for honestly any real period of time, we're talking seconds, 2, 3, 4 seconds max, like that's the most you'll ever need to be in one spot, you are dealing a fantastic amount of damage, and you will be able to kind of obliterate anything that's put in your path given enough time, right? Again, given enough time. You need time in the market, right? Time in the market means timing the market. And in this case, this Necromancer is, I think, the real deal, and I think that people are giving it way too little credit. Now, I'm testing out this slot right here. I'm testing out this slot. It could be Blood Mist, it could be Decrepify, it could be, Corpse Tendrils, that could be Golem. I just didn't want to invest too much into my minions, and I didn't want to invest too much into my skeletal warriors. I think this Golem stays alive just enough, as much as I need it to. I feel kind of like the Druid from from D2, where the Golem is your grizzly bear, right? It doesn't survive all the time, but it's another character to be hit. And for the small investment of just 3 points into Golem Mastery, so it was either this or like Decrepify, right? Decrepify 1, 2, and 3, right? Because I was trying to get the cooldown of Bone Storm up, because Bone Storm makes you invulnerable. Let me be perfectly clear. Bone Storm makes you invulnerable as long as you're in a group of monsters. Okay, so as long as you're around some monsters, let's say 3 or 4 or 5, not the 20 or 30 or 40 packs that you have stomped on top of you because you're using your Blight ability. Throw my boots. Sorry, I'm on a controller, so it's a little hard to control. Blight's defiled area when spawn pulls in enemies around the affected area. Okay, so basically you cast your Blight, groups of enemies, you dash onto them. Boots also have 3 max evade charges. You notice that I have 4 max evade charges, which gives you 4 as long as you are sipping, right? Do not guzzle your evade charges, because otherwise you'll be stuck and you won't be able to go anywhere. But if you just sit there, take small sips, and just move when you need to move, you've got decent movement speed. It's not great. I might want to try and get it on my amulet. And if there's any other movement effects, I might try and get that too. I might actually, now that I think about it, take some points out of... I already took points out of this because I saw Macro Bio Boy's thing on how Lucky Hit basically doesn't spawn crippling darkness at all. So, no points there. But I might take out a point here from Bone Storm because we do not care about critical hit chance, and I'm going to do that right now, actually. Remove that, and we'll put that into a little bit more movement speed, and I might be able to take one out from one other slot. I don't know where, but I think 10% movement speed is fine. You definitely need the Reap, you definitely need the Corpse. If an enemy hit by Reap dies, I wish you could just skip out this one, because who cares? And Reap also increases your damage reduction by 15% for 2 seconds. So hitting with Reap is not bad, and it also triggers, again, it applies stacks of shadow damage. Wow, there you go. Alright, starting over. Here is the Corpse Explosion Necro. This is Mr. Big Nate. I stream on Twitch from time to time. I will probably be streaming more since it's summertime. The whole idea about this game is, or a whole idea about this build is that we're trying to apply Corpse Explosion over a period of... Nice. We're trying to apply Corpse Explosion over a period of time that allows us to... God, I'm not even in a spot where I can... Oh my god. Alright, we're gonna pick a dungeon that's close to us. Really don't understand why this is so hard. Like, of course, when I make my, video, that's when it's gonna crash, like, super hard. Okay. Let's go get another piece of... Let's go get a Nightmare Sigil. Well, that's close. Sure, whatever. What I like to do is I like to put on some either iron skin, because armor is kind of where it's at. We'll put on this one. You know what? Pause it. Oh, come on. That's not... Why am I not on the same page that I was? Come on. Come on, Nate. You can do this. Alright. Where is our new location? It's all the way over here. Alderwood. It's pretty close, so we can get there. Alright. Corey, please forgive me. Oh, I'm gonna be sending this to you. And you're gonna tell me how to do it. Because we're friends. Alright. So we're headed over to our Nightmare Dungeon. Hopefully it doesn't crash this time. Why it crashed last time, that was really weird. But we'll figure it out together. Alright, so here we go. So we're gonna take always take your consumable, pop the potion, and just watch the build in action. I'll shut up for a second. Nice. I love it. Level 80. Oh yeah, okay, he's fine. Alright, we're lagging out super hard. Gotta love it. And you'll see, we kind of just melt everything. Really difficult to not get crowd control. As long as you keep damaging them, you will get where you need to go. Alright, dude's just straight up killing it. See, now this is where probably Blood Mist might be useful. Do the Aldirk and Jiggy Jiggy Jerk, and see how we're just invulnerable? We just start blasting hardcore. You just can't be stopped when you have your bone storm up. So I feel that like with better gear, this build is gonna be pretty much unstoppable as far as PVM is concerned. I really look forward to making a build later on that more PvP oriented. But like, look at the damage. The damage is just insane. The damage is there, and I feel that it's not that the damage is not being paid enough close enough attention to it. This is level tier 26. This is the highest I've ever done, and I am destroying it. I used it right there because I didn't want to die. Hey, buddy. Hey, 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 hey. Oh my god, the lag is unbearable. Alright, let's wait for a second. We're gonna go do some other shit for a second. Get away from me. Hello? That's beautiful. Pinning it. See, now this is where oh, my golem's still alive. Nice. The golem survives enough, it does enough, and it pulls enough damage off you to really be worth it. I really like just stopping crowd control. Crowd control them. This lag is pretty rough. So here we are lagging out, getting crowd controlled like crazy, and we're still destroying. And we're only level 73, right? This is insane. Travel it. Oh god. Ah! Look at that. Look at that. Delicious. Delicious. What they say? What can men do against such reckless hate? Hello? Laggies. And then when you get to the boss, I don't know where the hell my golem ran to. Alright, whatever. Let's just stay here. Disappeared. Didn't kill him fast enough. I'm a loser. Look at that. Just completely annihilated the dungeon. We weren't really in danger of dying at any time. I was playing poorly. Yeah, I have a lot to say for this build. I think it's, it's one that... Why is this at 5? Is it because... Oh, because it's turned on. Okay. Alright, now we'll do this one. Get that. Get this to 15, and then we'll move another one to 15. Love that. Alright. And so you kind of got an idea of, those mobs weren't particularly hard. I really think that choosing the right nightmare dungeon is what you want to be doing. And but like, happy playing. I feel that you can really take this and turn it into, take this game and turn it into whatever you want it to be. So don't think that you have to make it this way or that way. I really embolden people to figure it out for themselves, because this game offers up so many different viable ways of playing. But you just saw right there, like, Blight groups them while also applying damage over time. Leaves damage over the defiled area, leaving 12,000 something damage over time. This build does not care about crit chance. It doesn't care about crit damage. Forget it. You care about shadow damage, darkness damage, damage in general. So the more damage you do, the more damage you do. There's no crit multipliers. If I do this, if I get that. You do want some lucky hit so that you can spawn your corpses more efficiently. But outside of that, and the gloves do that themselves. The gloves come pre-rolled. So, and I got a pretty good lucky hit chance. I got a 16.5. That's the best roll you can get, and I got really high on the corpse skill attack speed. These gloves are actually insane. I'd say I'd rather have a higher lucky chance hit to stun and a less lucky chance hit to fear. That would be the only thing that I would say. And then of course, 40% on the other roll. But it's gonna be really, really hard to find better gloves than these. I also found an amazing ancestral two-handed scythe. Damage to injured enemies, damage to close enemies, damage to distant enemies, and you want to roll your Shadow Blight key passive onto your weapon. You get 200, or on your two-handed weapon, you get 240% increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadow Blight key passive skill damages enemies 10 times. This is essentially, like, we're talking D3 tier level damage, and you saw that. You saw that with that fight. So, I mean, I think the build speaks for itself, honestly. And I feel that you guys can, you can make do with what you got, but know that any build you have is viable. All right, so that's to be it for me. That's Mr. Big Nate, and I'm out.